Hey y'all, just Jax here. Um, just wanted to do an update because I'm at 10 weeks, man. I'm at 10 weeks. So just 2 more weeks to go until I'm at 3 months. So I'm kind of more excited about every third month. I have a thing with threes in my lifetime. So for some reason, 3, 6, 9, and then to be 12. So I think for me, breaking it down every 3 months into something big is that's where I'm excited for. Even though I'll do big updates on probably those third months, I haven't really done a thought out progression of everything that's been going on. So I thought I'd do that this time. So yeah, here we go. So the changes that I've noticed over the last 10 weeks, the biggest one is I still sometimes will talk in my head voice. So I'll go up and I'll be kind of where I was a little bit. It just, some people have been like, oh, you sound like a cold. But if I technically talk to where my voice is at, which is what I do for my comparison videos, the people that always hear me up here don't realize how deep my voice is yet. And I think that's, like I said before, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. It's just habit. It's human nature. It's muscle memory. And sometimes that muscle memory is the people that you're around. And I also think part of it is, in a way, wanting to protect my nieces from me changing too much. So when I'm around them, I try to talk up higher and stuff, and I don't want to scare them, I don't want to worry them, even though we've talked about it, we've watched other videos, and the older ones seem excited for me. I don't want to hurt anyone in this process, let alone someone who is a child. So that's the thing, and that's kind of been always my thing with transitioning. I didn't want to hurt anybody with it, so there's still that. But now I'm going to go on to the next thing that I have on me, which was my skin. And it's still my skin. It's better, but I'm also handling it better. The fact that it's extremely oily, and I've worked food jobs a lot since starting, because my current job is in food too. And the acne, luckily my face has been spared for the most part. I didn't get horrible facial acne. I got a lot of it, but it was littler pimples. And I'd randomly get a really big white head here and there. But my forehead would get the worst of it. And this whole time, like, feeling it right now, other than it's oily again. My forehead was spared because I was talking to my first doctor that prescribed the testosterone, and she was like, yeah, if that's where you got acne the first time, that is probably where you'll get it again. So that was the worry there, and luckily my face has been spared. Like I said, I've gotten a couple monster zits, and especially there was one like right in here that was and I've gotten them usually right in here, which is about where I got them beforehand. My T-zone was always a trouble spot. I just didn't know what a T-zone was when I was growing up. So that's the deal there. But the back acne and the chest acne is still there. It's thinning out some, but what is there is getting bigger. So I had pretty much, like, I just felt acne. And then I'd ask Holly to look, and she was like, it's not that bad. And I was like, no, I'm trying to see. And she's like, turn around in the mirror. And I was like, oh, it really isn't that bad. There's a lot of it. And she's like, yeah, it's not that. So, I'm not going to sit here and keep saying that bad. So, it could have been way worse. And now I'm just getting a lot of littler patches with a lot of bigger ones. So I'm trying to keep that off. She bought me, I don't know if I mentioned this, but she bought me a loofah on a stick to help me wash my back, and I have charcoal body wash. So I don't know if that's what's helping and changing that acne. And then when I do the alcohol wipes in the morning and at night, which I have not done this morning, I woke up, walked the dog, and ate breakfast. I haven't done that this morning, so that's why my face is so bad. I do another one right where I can reach, and I haven't been, so I've missed that this week woodworking, so that's probably where that's coming from. Next biggest thing for me, I got my first T-shot. The next day, I started spotting. I normally have never really spotted before I started. Like, maybe like an hour or two, maybe half a day. Maybe. Like, usually I knew I started because I started. Going back, I used to think my Crohn's would be flaring up and then I would start. Well, someone realized I'm actually having, that I was having actual menstrual cramps, but because of the location, I assumed it was my Crohn's. So I would get cramps before I started, which, compared to other people I know, mild in comparison. Mild in comparison. Mostly just annoying. Kind of felt like a kidney stone. That was about it. I could take a leave and be fine. So I've always been lucky in that regard. I would bleed heavily, for me, for 1 to 2 days steadily. The third day I would spot, and I would hardly spot enough to wear anything for 2 more days. And that would be it. There was a time period when I was younger, I bled even less. So I would literally bleed heavy 2 days, spot maybe a day, and be done. So my cycles have always been fairly kind to me. And I think because of this is why I've stopped. I have only had the first cycle since I've started, and I have not had another one since. So I should be, like I said, I can only go by the time I started testosterone. Since I haven't had the cycle, I don't know when it would be moving up or back or whatever. So I go by my testosterone date, which is in 2 weeks. My 1 month is in 2 weeks. So if I haven't started again by then, I think it's fair to say after 3 months, granted 2 months of missing them, I think it's fair to say that I am not going to have one. And I think, I'm not trying to get a record or anything, I don't know, but that's the quickest I've ever heard from anyone. I've heard 3 months, I've heard 6 months, I've heard a year. I've heard people still spotting during the first year. So there's still a possibility for that. I think I'm finally noticing growth, and I personally don't want to talk about that. Not because it's a trigger warning to me. It's just, that's extremely personal. I have friends and family that are on my channel. I don't know that they want to hear about it. I think I know some good videos that I have in my playlist that talk about it better than I would ever talk about it. So I do believe things are changing, and I will mention that. But as far what and how, and right now I'm not in the place to talk about that, so I'm not going to. And that's my choice. Next biggest thing was strength. Strength. I have strength in my upper arms. That is huge. I've worked out before. I've used free weights before. I've used machines before. I've gotten in shape, but this t-shirt is a bad example, but I have a lot of fitted t-shirts, the fitted style of t-shirts from Old Navy that I wear around the house. And probably within the first month, I was leaning over the bed playing with the dog, and Holly just made a comment. She's like, dang. And I'm like, what? She's like, you really are working out a lot. I go, not really. And I looked, and just the way the shirt fit over my muscles, like for me, like you can't see it still, but how tight that muscle is. And then how easily it is for me, it's right here, but I don't think you can see it, how easily it is for me to get my traps, my tricep to pop, and like, I just, not flexing, but if I move my elbow, I can feel it and see it. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And then my traps are extremely prominent, and they're like I said, I feel muscle there. Like my upper back, I did the, stretch, flexing in the mirror, bathroom mirror, trying to see it. In my upper body, there's muscles. What is happening? So it's crazy to me. And the strength thing a few weeks in, I can't imagine. And I've moved up on all my weights. Because of Holly being in the hospital in St. Louis and then being in Maryland, I didn't work out for about 2 weeks, and I went back in, and I was a little slow going. My brother was joining me, and so I was letting him know, I was like, this I'm just doing with a lightweight, you know, and then like he would have to move one, but he'd have to move it up on a couple, and I was like, I'm just pretty much just getting the muscle in motion, sleeping in hotel beds. I did something, or moving a weight too soon. I did something to my shoulder. I was worried it was my rotator cuff. Luckily, it's better. It's still sore from the way I sleep on it, but nothing crazy. But the leg press, I can do it. For me, is insane. I'm doing like 250 on a leg press. So, and then I'm bench pressing 60 pounds. I could probably go up, but I don't do it often enough, especially now with my work schedule, to try. And for some people, that might be okay. I couldn't bench I do it on the Smith machine. So I add 50 pounds to it, and then it's another 20. So I might be doing 70. But the unassisted bar in other gyms is 50 pounds with no weights. And there's guys that would snicker at me because I would have to do it without any weights on it, and I would struggle bus. To do 3 sets of 10. And I have to have insistence, because the last 3 on each set, I'm like, I'm not going to make it. And I wouldn't by myself, but my friend would be there, and they were like, we'll count for you, don't do it. And just do as many as you can. And I'd still get to about 10, and like as soon as her arms would be under me to grab the bar, then I could get 2 more. But it was a struggle. So to be able to sit there and bench, 50 to 60 pounds. Granted, the Smith machine is my assistance, but you still gotta be able to move the weight. So strength is huge, and I like it. And I'm still not used to it in some ways. And like, I went to help show a friend how to do something else. I'm like, here, I'll show you on the 5-pound weight. And I was like, almost threw that thing. So, yeah, that's nice. It's nice. The biggest thing, and this was probably from the beginning, and it still happens, but not as bad. I was yawning constantly. Like, I could not stop yawning. It was making my eyes water, plus my allergies. Like, I'd just be sitting there just yawn. I'm like, even if I felt rested. So, this might be like a whole, my body's changing, my body needs more rest, and then I was getting muscle cramps easier. Could be from the working out more. We've been trying to keep an eye on it. I need to eat more bananas. But we've been Gatorating me pretty good. But with the colostomy, that comes into its own thing. It doesn't really stay in my body per se. But my hips, I have muscle definition there, but the muscles on my hips, I don't know how the hips change if they do. But yeah, I'm constantly stretching, I'm constantly yawning, I'm constantly have to just keep, I can't. Like, it's just, but once I do it, I'm like, oh, that's so much better. So, I guess the muscle's growing, changing. I'm not mad at it. It's just sometimes it's annoying. I'm like, I don't even know why I'm stretching, but I need to stretch. But especially my legs and my hips. That's been the really, really big one. And I don't feel it in my arms and my shoulders, but then once I do it, I feel so much better. So there's that. And I got excited. This is the last thing. It's the most recent thing. I'm getting hairy. So, we do my testosterone and my legs. Holly's in the process of trying to get me to where I can do it by myself. Because, gosh forbid, something happens to her. I have a couple other family members that can help, but I feel really bad asking them. So, I'm getting close. I am the only part that I just cannot do is stick myself with a needle. So, a couple of nurses have given us a couple of tips. Get an orange with a syringe that we will waste, but keep around just for this purpose. That way I can get used to the pressure, how much pressure I need to do, and that way the first thing I stick is not myself. Leaving the cap on the syringe and the needle, and then going towards your leg, getting that mental picture of this is what I gotta do, this is all I gotta do. And then the other thing is, Holly was just like, just touch it to your leg. Just touch it to your leg. See, that doesn't hurt. And here, watch when I do it. And I had to watch. She's like, how bad did that hurt? I go, technically it doesn't hurt, but technically it hurts. And you know, this is a very, 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 very common thing. A lot of people, when put to the test, could not stab themselves with a needle. Not a bad thing. So, where we do my shots is top of my legs. Pull down my pants this week and go to look. I'm like, Jax is fuzzy. Like, it's a pretty good amount of hair. It's not all the way up my thigh, but it's definitely from my knee to mid-thigh. And Holly found it funny because about mid-thigh is where we do it. She's like, it's right where the testosterone's going in. I was like, well, it's definitely a good indicator of where we need to go till next week. But just within a week. I had no idea. And then I looked at my legs, which I have not shaved. I shaved for a Dollar Shave Club video last year, and I haven't shaved since then. So I have a pretty good amount of hair. So I haven't really noticed if it's different. But then I realized there's a lot more of it coming in because that's lighter and fuzzier than what I already had. So my whole bottom of my legs are getting covered. Probably not behind my calf because that's where I tend to not grow hair because of everything rubbing against my calf. So we'll see if that changes. But yeah, the front of my legs and the tops of my thighs. And I've looked, and I don't like doing it, but I've looked at my chest to try to see, and it's kind of fuzzy, but I did have, you know, the white baby hair there, so I can't really tell if that's different. But last night I felt like it was, but I was so tired. We've been working on my feet. She's like, this is not the time to check for that. She's like, you're fine. So I have no idea about my back. I have no idea about my butt, so it's nothing noticeably visible there, but it is dark hair and light hair that's coming in on my legs and my face. I got a little bit of a stash in the corner. I have this hairy mole here, so it's really hard to tell because it is hairy throughout the mole and around the mole and has been for a long while, and I've been plucking it and stuff, but I am going to talk to a doctor about it, and there's a chance, if they will let me, that I'm going to get it removed because of how old I am. I've had other moles have to be removed. Most of I do have skin damage from the sun, and that's where a lot of my freckles and my bad moles have come from. And so I've had several of them removed, and several of them are big and gnarly and bigger than this one. I had one on my stomach that required 6 stitches to get removed. So I do have a lot of them that need to be looked at, and so I will, because my freckles are pretty much just from sun. Just from sun and some damage, so especially on my shoulders. That's where I'd get burnt the worst when I was a kid, was on my shoulders. So there is a chance it's going to get removed, because also, I will be honest, I haven't shaved my mustache at all because I'm worried too. I don't want to cut it open. I don't want to, like, it's really bothering me having to do it, which I'm sure it's an easy process, but because of other reasons, if I can get it removed, not just for vanity of shaving. Because like I said, even though I want to grow hair, doesn't mean I'm going to keep it. So there's that. And then I shaved not too long ago. But when I've been shaving lately, since this is a really hard spot to hit, I've been leaving this little spot here. So I'll shave up to about here, and then I will shave down. And then I can't get this spot without going back across. So I quit going back across, just to see. And last night there was like one little hair over here that was a little bit longer than the rest, and these are a little bit longer. You can tell it's not just the little baby hair growing back. That, you know, the pre-T baby hair. I can tell, it's like I can feel, like the stubble feels different even from then. And I feel it all the way out to here. But that doesn't mean it's going to keep growing rapidly or anything, because right here's a little bit bald, but then right around in here, I start getting a different kind of fuzz, and that's on both sides. But then up in here, I feel a little bit, and then I definitely feel like around in here. Not necessarily underneath, per se, because it seems like most of the trans guys I know, they get like a back beard, is what I call it. I get like what I call like a back or backwards beard, like it all grows under here first, and then back, and under here is nothing. So, feels like what I'm getting is definitely right in here, and then I noticed a little bit, I couldn't tell if that was new, like baby stubble coming in, or if it's actual stubble coming in. since I've shaved it, I haven't seen it yet. And then I have mustache in the corners. And before you throw my age in there, I've never been facially hairy. I didn't have a mustache coming in. I wasn't close to menopause that I know of. But all I had was just baby fine hairs. That was it. So it's not a menopausal mustache. I am a man now. Calm down. So I wanted to give a rundown about everything. So I might not do a big 3-month update because I think I just did it. My brain is tired. It's been a long week. I hadn't made a video, so I wanted to make a video and let you guys know what's going on. So I will say my 3 months for my big testosterone voice update. That seems to be my most popular and my most waited for, because a lot of people commented like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this. I didn't know when your 2-month was. So that's when my 2-month is. So thanks again, everybody. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be a good human. I'm gonna take a nap. See you soon.